Mr. White, your 6 o'clock is here. It's John yesterday.
Thank you, Lori. My compliments to your stylist. Great suit.
I picked it out, Mr. White.
Ah, then my compliments to human resources for hiring you.
You hired me yourself, Mr. White.
Oh, I see. Tell him to come right in, please.
Mr. White will see you now, Mr. Yesterday.
Thank you.
Come over here, John. Have a look at this sunset. My advice to you is, if in your next life you come back as a filthy rich businessman, remember to get an office with a view like this. It's the only part that's really worth it in the end.
I can't even remember what I've done in this life, Mr. White.
Henry. Call me Henry. You used to call me that. How is your mother doing?
She has a slight cold. She seems like a good person. She's been telling me a lot about my life, but I can't seem to remember anything about it. Not a thing.
Give her my best. And let me pick your brains for a moment. What has she told you? You never used to talk about yourself in the old days. What has your mother told you about your childhood?
All there is to tell. Only child, shy, few friends, obedient, athletic. I just wish I could remember.
What do you know about your youth?
I threw myself into my schoolwork. Apparently I'm smart. I have a master's in the history of religion from my mother. She's a worldwide authority on the history of satanic cults. The terrible thing is that I don't remember a single thing I learned in all those years in the university, except what was in the books you sent me in the hospital and what my mother has been telling me.
Do you have a partner?
My mother says I had a girlfriend a long time ago. Suzanne. Now I'm single, it seems.
What has she told you about your likes?
This is strange. She told me that I never liked grapes, but the other day I tried one and it was delicious.
Interesting. To what extent are our likes and dislikes conditioned by our memories? By the way, I love grapes. Everything all right at the hospital?
Yes, of course. Thank you for taking care of the bill.
I didn't do it. My money did. Sometimes it gets tired of rotting in the bank. Tell me, John, have you managed to remember anything about your past on your own?
No. Well, sometimes I get small flashes of random images, sounds. It's happened 3 times now. Watching a movie, looking at my hand, seeing a bluebird.
Curious, isn't it? Tell me more. What was it you remembered when you were watching that movie?
It took place in Paris. Suddenly, I saw, I don't know, a sort of antique shop, a girl.
What came to mind when you looked at your hand?
Well, it was actually the scar on my hand. The image of a strange person appeared in my mind. Some kind of priest in a church. He was talking about killing someone, me.
What happened when you looked at this blue bird?
It perched on the windowsill in the hospital. Suddenly I saw myself with a beard and long hair in a blizzard.
Oh, goodness, John. I haven't even offered you a chair. I'm very sorry for what happened, John. Very sorry. I can't help thinking that it's all my doing.
On the contrary, I've come here to thank you.
And to get some answers, I imagine. What do you want to know?
I want to know who I am.
I'm not God, John. If you want to solve that mystery, go to a church and pray. I can only resolve human dilemmas.
Why did you send those books on satanic cults to me in the hospital?
To help your mother re-educate you, and with an eye to a matter that we had between us. One that we still have.
What connects me to you?
There's a lot, John. You were working for me when you tried to kill yourself. You got too involved in the investigation. You lost your perspective. Lori has the contract, by the way. Ask for her copy on your way out if you want.
What did my investigation consist of?
I hired you to get information about the Order of the Flesh, a satanic cult from the 15th century, in the hope that this would help us trap a present-day killer. My own investigation wasn't going anywhere.
What had you discovered before hiring me?
The Order of the Flesh was founded in 1463 by an ex-priest named Ginés de Orduña.
What was the Order of the Flesh about?
We know very little. They worshipped the devil and combined alchemy with torture in search of God knows what, until the Inquisition began to persecute them.
Did the Inquisition put a stop to the Order of the Flesh?
In 1498, when it seemed like Cardinal Cisneros, the Grand Inquisitor, had them cornered, they disappeared from the map. They evaporated. No one knows how or to where.
What did I find out?
You started doing some research in the archives at the University of Salamanca in Spain, and you found something curious. A missive from the guard Captain Miguel de Somosierra to Cardinal Cisneros, written on the 31st of August, 1501.
What did the letter say?
He stated that on that very morning his troops had traveled to the temple where they suspected the order was meeting, that they went in and interrupted a demonic ritual, that they killed all its members without mercy, and that finally they burned the church, reducing it to rubble and the ashes of satanic cadavers.
The letter didn't say anything else?
Yes, the captain congratulated him for the tip that led them to the temple. Literally, he said, "Thankfully, Your Excellency saw the relationship between the Order of the Flesh and the Holy Cathedral of Our Lady of Paris. That led us to reveal the evil in an apparently holy church."
What relationship is there between Notre Dame and the Order?
That was the next and final step in your investigation. Paris.
What did I find out in Paris?
I don't know. You disappeared there for 15 days. When you finally called, you were very distressed. You told me that you found something very important and that you couldn't tell me over the telephone. So I flew to Paris.
Why didn't I tell you what I found out?
Because when I arrived at your hotel, you had attempted suicide. You were dying. You had swallowed mercury. Plus, you had cut your hand, drawing the symbol of the Order of the Flesh on your skin. It looked like a Y.
How did you know it was a suicide?
You left a note. Forgive me, Henry, but to get to the bottom of this, first I must die.
Tell me about this killer.
He's been killing hobos for years. First he only burned them, but then his modus operandi evolved.
How did the hobo killer evolve?
He stopped burning his victims and started torturing them using satanic rituals.
What led you to link him to this cult?
At a certain point, he started carving a sort of Y into the bodies of his victims, the symbol of the Order of the Flesh.
Why are you so interested in capturing him?
For a time, I worked as a volunteer in an NGO called the Children of Don Quixote. They help the homeless. Over the years, I stopped working with them because there's something that can help them more than I can. My money. It's been covering all their expenses since my parents died and I took over White Enterprises. I'm not going to allow anyone to keep attacking these people, John. And you're going to help me.
Why did you hire me?
I hired your mother first, John. But after a while, she came to a dead end. I didn't know where to go from there. She said that if anyone could get further, it would be you. Now you know everything, John. Talk to Lori.
Have her give you your tickets.
What tickets?
Ah, did I forget to mention that? You're leaving for Paris this afternoon. That's okay with you, right?
Yeah, Henry. I need to know who I am.
Exactly, John. Your father would be proud of you.
He just went in.
You're sure the suite does not bring back any memories, Monsieur Yesterday?
No, I'm sorry.
Dommage. Well, call me if you need anything at all. Dinner, with adult entertainment, you get my drift? Blonde, brunette, bald, black, white, young, oldies, sex pots, fat ladies, dwarves, hussies, spinsters, natural, surgically enhanced, clean, or filthy. And 10% discount if I get to watch, okay?
Thank you, Albert. I'll keep it in mind.
Your secret is safe with me, Monsieur Yesterday. I'll keep it from anyone who doesn't say these 2 words, including if it is you.
Hello, son. Have you arrived? Have you had dinner? How was the flight? Have you remembered anything?
The trip was oddly uncomfortable. Mr. White had reserved the entire first-class section for me, and I had 2 flight attendants hovering over me the whole time. It was impossible to get any reading done. Guess what? On the plane, they offered me grapes for dessert.
And?
I tried them, Mom. They were delicious.
How strange. When you were a little boy, you used to spit them in my face. But I'm glad you finally come to like them, son. You've never eaten enough fruit.
It's very strange, Mom. I've stopped remembering things since I met Mr. White. On my last visit, I stored something using a password that I can't remember now. Any ideas what it is?
I don't know, son. Frank for your father, maybe. Elaine for me. Suzanne for that girlfriend you had. Or perhaps something having to do with Satanism? I don't know.
Mom, I don't think I tried to kill myself.
What are you saying, son?
It might have been an accident. Imagine that I broke a thermometer and that the mercury fell into a glass and then I drank from it without noticing and...
John, you don't have to reassure me. I know that nothing will happen this time. I trust you. You're intelligent and strong.
John, how are you doing?
Fine, Mr. White.
Henry. To you, I'm just Henry.
Yes, Henry, pardon me. The hotel is really over the top, Henry. Thank you.
Over the top? You'll never change, John. That's exactly what you said to me the last time.
The front desk clerk is a little odd, don't you think?
I don't remember him. I'll have him fired, all right?
No, don't do that. It's really nothing.
Better. We all have a right to make a living.
When I was in New York, you mentioned my father. Did you ever meet him?
Excuse me, John. What do you have for me, Cooper?
A woman of about 50, passed out, drunk.
In one piece?
Almost.
Take her to the generator room. I want her awake and calm. Call me when she's ready. Excuse me, John. Where were we? Ah, yes. Dementia is a very hard thing. But let's not talk about that, okay?
I'm starting to remember things, Henry.
Congratulations. I knew that this trip would help you. I just knew it.
I didn't try to kill myself, Henry. Someone forced me to swallow the mercury.
What are you saying? I'll send a bodyguard. I'll call Lori. I'm sure we have someone in Paris. Don't leave the hotel. Someone will come for you.
The last time I was in the hotel, I hid something.
Interesting. What could it be? Well, call me if you find it. Remember that anything you turn up, no matter how minor, can help us save lives.
What do you know about my suicide attempt?
Nothing. Well, that Mr. White found you and he took you to a hospital in some kind of private ambulance. He made sure no one was the wiser. We don't want any scandals here.
Did I have any visitors?
Not a single one, Monsieur, yesterday. I'm sorry to say that your behavior was very boring, despite the fact that I dropped the price of my very best girls as much as 20%. Have you had a change of heart?
No, thank you.
25%? 30%?
Who's been in the room since my previous visit?
Only Mr. White, the maid, Matthew from maintenance, and me, but not a single guest. Someone has to clean the room, even if there are no guests, sir. By the way, if you're interested in her, be in the room tomorrow when she comes to clean it. She's new and frisky. Free fun dance on the first visit. I just went to leave a small welcome gift on the terrace a little while ago, monsieur. The maid noticed that the extractor fan in the bathroom was not working, so I sent Matthew to fix it. Mr. White came to the hotel because you called him. He went up to the room, and that was when he found you half dead.
Is this hotel named after Gustave Doré, the artist?
Mais non, it's named after, another Doré, who's also an artist in his own way. The funny thing is that he's a great-great-grandson of the original Doré.
I know that you have an envelope for me.
Of course, Monsieur Yesterday. But as per your instructions, you have to say 2 words before I can give it to you. Dommage. You're not getting any closer.
What really happened to my father? Was he crazy?
Son, I would have preferred for you not to find out. I told you that your father died in the tragedy at Cadway Station, but that's not what really happened. As I've told you, your father was the world's leading expert on satanic sects. The best. He was my thesis director. That's how we met. It's true that your father was in Cadway when the station caved in, but he survived. And he stayed there, living in its ruins. I begged him to come back home, but it was no use. He said that the station was the only place he felt safe. After the collapse, your father was traumatized. He said that he was being persecuted by a satanic sect called the Unmentionable Ones. The last time I went to see him, I tried everything, but he didn't want to leave. He called me a heretic, and he disappeared without a trace. Frank yesterday was a great man, John. A true scholar, a good husband, and the best of fathers. He loved you very much, John. Just don't make the same mistakes he did.
Give me the envelope, Albert. Revolution, alchemy.
We're getting back our memory, huh? I'll bring it right up. Here you go, Monsieur Yesterday.
Thanks a lot, Albert.
Their photos? Huh? Pretty photos. Naked, dirty, trashy, fifi, lascivious. If you don't have a buyer, I can find you one. 10% discount if I can
Good
watch
night,
you.
Albert.
Oh, I see. That bulge must be some kind of toy. I'll leave you alone. Pervert.
Do the words "the Evergreen 1852" mean anything to you?
Of course, it's the name of a legendary chess match. Anderson moves the knight to e7 and defeats Dufresne in 24 moves.
Did I ever tell you what I wanted the contents of the envelope for?
There's no need to, Monsieur Yesterday. But when you're finished with it, I'll buy it off you. 20% extra if it's clean.